Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Empowering Women Impacting Lives. And in this YouTube video, I will be talking about some of the signs of poor management in the workplace. When I do videos, about things that's in my heart to do videos about, and I'll also do videos about life experiences, sharing stories about different things that also happen to me, and that so that I can help women um, and also other people as well, not just women, but um, on how to um, you know do things um, and just go about the right way of um, getting the help you need. And poor management is really like costing a lot of businesses money, and it's the reason why a lot of businesses are failing. Poor management means having a negative impact on employees and the company itself. Poor management holds employers back instead of leading them to success. Poor management comes in many different forms. Um, Again, it leads the company downhill to poor profits, high employee turnover, reduced productivity, and overall, like I said before, the failure of businesses. In this video, I want to empower women because there's a lot of sexual harassment that goes on in these workplaces and on the jobs and careers and things like that. And in this video, I would like to empower women, you know, don't hesitate to go to HR. Don't hesitate to, if HR doesn't do anything, don't hesitate to um, contact the EEOC, which I'll talk to you about later on in this video. Don't hesitate, don't be scared um, to try to, find another job or go to a different department. I empower women um, to take that step because there's a lot of sexual harassment that goes on in these workplaces, and that is a part of poor management. Okay, so let's begin with this video. The first thing we're going to talk about regarding signs of poor management is the micromanager. Wow, I know everybody has experienced that. Micromanaging, that's number one sign of poor management, okay? And a micromanager is a boss or manager who constantly monitors you closely and exerts excessive control and supervision over you. Micromanaging is one of the most toxic and damaging styles of management. A lot of people don't realize that. Micromanaging is very damaging to your mental health. Micromanagers watch and control every move you make constantly, standing over your shoulder, constantly watching you on cameras, wanting to know where you are and what you're doing at all times. Micromanagers are abusive and controlling. Micromanagers are also very insecure about themselves. That's why they feel the need to want to control everything around them and everybody around them. It's an insecurity issue there also. And also, just a little bit about control. Control is a form of abuse, so anybody that is controlling you, trying to control you, you know, they're abusing you. It's psychological abuse, and a lot of people don't really know that. A lot of women don't know that. Control is a form of abuse. Um, Control is also associated with different mental disorders. So not only is control a form of abuse, and I also want to say this, control is also a part of witchcraft as well, you know, and a lot of people don't know that. And I will get more into that in a different video, but I want to stay on point with control being a form of abuse, okay? And anybody or anything that try to control you is dangerous for you. It's very dangerous for you. Control, like I said, control is also associated with different mental disorders. If a, you know, I've met some very, very controlling people in my lifetime, and I'm like, man, what's wrong with them? And then I began to research, like, as I began to go to like college, and I studied several mental disorders in college and things like that. And I learned that an overly controlling person, if overbearing, just real controlling, you know, they have some type, it's associated with a mental disorder. They have some type of mental health disorder or something, you know, personality disorder, some type of mental illness. Okay. Control is associated with different mental disorders, and we'll get more into that in this video. Micromanagers are overly concerned with small, petty details that has little or no significance. They are always they are always calling meetings and want to talk to you in the office for petty reasons. They do not let you have a lot of freedom, and makes little room for you to make decisions. So micromanagers give their employees little autonomy, little freedom, and a little room to make decisions. Usually micromanagers, they make all the decisions, or they make decisions for you. Okay, and when we go to the next slide here, I'm going to share two of my personal experiences on being micromanaged in the workplace, which was very, 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 very detrimental. It's crazy. One of the stories I'll share with you all is it's regarding micromanagement. Is when I was on a job, I was working at a school at the time, and I just got offered the position. Okay, now this wasn't a school, I would say a college, or university. It wasn't no, elementary school or nothing like that. So I got offered the position, and I was excited to start, you know. Um, I was excited. I got the job offer. I was excited. I was moving up, and one of my one of my main bosses, she was an African American lady. She had an MBA, and I was just excited to be working for her. I'm African American, so I was just excited to be there and get the position. And after I got hired and offered the position, things went cool. Things was cool for the first couple of days. And working for having the opportunity to work for a Black woman that had an MBA, I was really wow, like this is awesome, for me, because I'm an African American woman and I'm pursuing my education as well. But why is it when we as African American women you know, we come up in the world and then we want to try to make it harder for another Black woman, you know. And I really don't understand that. I'll get into that into another video, but um it's just, a bunch of competition caught up with that. And I wasn't there to compete. I was just happy to be there. Okay. So let's get into more into the story. Okay. Things was cool the first few days. Like I said, after I got into the office, I got my little, desk space or office space or whatever. So one of the first red flags was when another employee told me where to have lunch at in a dining hall, in a dining area. And my manager at the time, she didn't tell me where to eat lunch at. And I understand it had only been a couple of days. So I really wasn't holding that against her. So um, she tells me where to go and, buy lunch in a dining hall or whatever. And I was going to go get lunch, and then my manager at the time, she was in the office. And keep in mind, like, my desk was like right outside of her office. So it's like her back was towards, like her back was against me, and I'm like right there. So she could see, it's just like it was no like freedom. It was no like it was nothing like it was no, I mean, she was right there all the time. So no freedom. And so I told her, I'm gonna go get lunch or whatever, and I clocked out. And she said, and this was the first red flag, when she got an attitude with me for no reason. And she's like, well, I can go with you, you know. And I'm like, come with me for what? I'm grown. I can go take my lunch by myself. Now I don't mind having lunch with my managers and or my bosses if it's scheduled, or if we have something to talk about regarding work or whatever. I don't mind that. But her getting an attitude with me for no reason, well, I can go with you know. And so I said, but I didn't say anything. I brushed it off, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Um, she didn't know what I had planned. I might not wanted to eat lunch with her. I may have wanted to eat by myself or eat with somebody else for long as she know. But the thing about that was, you know, she didn't want me she didn't want me to go without her. She didn't want me to, how like some people, they don't want you to make moves without them. Well, I hired you, so don't get ahead of me type of attitude, like, and which is really petty to me because it was just lunch. And so that was a red flag for me. She didn't want me to go anywhere or do anything without her. And I'm thinking to myself, this woman is crazy. This woman had lost her mind, you know, and that's control all across the board. That's control. And like I said before, I'm grown. I should be able to eat lunch uh, whenever I get ready, and whoever I get ready to eat lunch with, because we had to clock out for lunch. So, it's not like we're on the clock. So we got the freedom. Lunch period, you're supposed to have the freedom to come and go as you wish, as long as you back within the allotted time of your lunch period. And it was just that was one of the first red flags, and I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. Then another red flag is when she walked in one day, and I wasn't at the desk when she walked in. And now, before we get into that, keep in mind, um, the first couple of days when I trained uh, a little, I trained with some of the girls downstairs, and um, I went downstairs for training, first, day or two or whatever. And I was told by the trainee, and I was also told by my manager at the time, that if I needed any help, I can always go downstairs and get the help I needed. Because, 1 or 2 days of training, or even, 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 days of training was not enough for me. And especially, they were giving me like 5, 6, 7, it was a lot of tasks all at once. And then they were detail oriented tasks, and I hadn't been trained in the things that she was giving me to do. you know it was just kind of like learn as you go. In any other job, training is 2 or 3 weeks, and for some companies it's more than that. you know but for this particular job, it was like, okay, you go downstairs, you train with somebody for a couple of days, and then they expecting you to know what you're doing, and it doesn't work like that. you know and you know I'm just like, okay, so I decided, okay, so every assignment that she gave me, I said, I'm going to take the initiative and I'm going to go downstairs and get help, because the manager already gave me permission to do it. She had already given me permission to do it. And the girls downstairs were wonderful. They were very supportive. Um, and they were like, just come downstairs if you need help, you know. She's like, most of us that started here, and they had been there for years, we hadn't catched on. They told me they didn't catch on to the actual job and know actually what they were doing. It took them a whole year to figure out what they were doing and to figure out the job. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know. Um, and so basically, I just kept going downstairs and getting help. And she got mad. She started getting mad when I wasn't at the desk. She come in the office and my stuff will be at the desk. Um, my jacket or whatever would be on the back of my chair or whatever. So she knew I was at work. And then, you know, we could clock in. She could also see that I was at work. But anyway, she would get mad because I wasn't at the desk when she walked in, which is very childish and very petty. And it sounded like some of that ghetto trifling stuff that she done been through with some man, you know, getting mad at her because she ain't at home when he get there. That's what, that's how I was, that I'm like, what kind of so it seemed like she had been abused by somebody, and then she repeating the cycle of abuse. So she she started getting mad and attitude when I went at the desk, and then she wanted to like have these meetings. And then in the meetings, I told her, I said, look, you told me up front that I can go downstairs and, you know, get help when I need it. And the girls have also welcomed me with open arms and very supportive and telling me, I can go get help when and if I needed to, you know. And She's like, yeah, but you're the face of the department. You need to be at the desk, and you need to be at the desk at all times. I was like, there's no way in the world I'm gonna be at the desk at all times. First of all, I gotta get up, go to the bathroom. I may want to get up and get a drink of water, take a break. I mean, what and then she started putting all these restrictions on me. Well, if you take a break, put a sign on the door. Girl, you must be out your mind. Put a sign on the door. Then she said, well, if you go downstairs, and go get help, I want you to start putting it on the calendar. I like this woman then really lost her mind. She was trying to keep track of me and trying to micromanage me and trying to, you know, trying to trying to keep tabs on me, trying to control every move I make, trying to see where I'm at. Every move I make, she trying to see where you at, and how long you gone, and all this mess. And I'm downstairs trying to get help to do the job, or to do the different jobs, tasks that I was assigned to do. And I'm just like, this woman then lost her mind. And then, like, we would have to set meetings, schedule meetings on the Microsoft Outlook calendar. Okay. We would schedule meetings because I would have to schedule her meetings and different things, what have you. When she would meet with different people within the department or outside the department or whatever. So she wanted me to use the Microsoft Outlook, the meeting scheduler, and put on there whenever I went downstairs to go get help. Now tell me if that ain't stupid or petty. You know what I'm saying? And it was just ridiculous. It was just ridiculous because, like I said, she was micromanaging, trying to micromanage me, you know? And to me, that was another red flag. That was another red flag, you know? This was a new department. This department had been open for 2 years. She had not built it yet. She had hired me in as one of the managers. And at first it was just me and her. And then she hired an assistant, whatever the case may be. But if you are a director over a department and it's 2 years and you haven't built your department, to me, something's wrong with that picture. But see, I didn't know that before I got hired. I thought the department was basically just opening up and I was starting from the ground up, but the department had been open for 2 years. So that right there showed me something about her. How are you going to be a director over a department for 2 years and you haven't built your department? And then she hired keep in mind, like I said, first it was just me and her. Then she hired an assistant. She didn't even need an assistant. Okay. She didn't even need an assistant because the department had not grown yet. The department hasn't fully grown. It was not grown. I could see if she had the department up and running and moving and moving and shaking, and then you got things square. You got the business and department. You got your department on track. But she didn't have her department on track, and that department been open for 2 years. What do you need an assistant manager for? And then she gonna pay me less salary. Okay, she gonna pay me less salary than the assistant manager. Then she want to turn around and she want to turn around and want me to do his scheduling, and different things that he wanted me to do as an assistant director. She wanted me to do work for him and her. Okay, now I'm loaded with 2 jobs now. You know what I'm saying? And you only paying me this little bit of money, you know what I'm saying, this little salary or whatever the case may be. I mean, it was cool for the minute, and it was cool, just doing scheduling for her or whatever, but you bringing a second party in, that's extra work on me. That's extra workload on me. You want me to do two and three jobs for two different people. You need to raise my salary, and you need to pay me some more money. That's how I'm feeling. And I'm just like, and then this director, he coming in, and like I had my own like little section or whatever. He coming in and, oh, I want to put this over here. I want to do this. Wait a minute, bro. This is my section. You know what I'm saying? And it was just crazy. And yeah, she wanted me to, schedule for him. And then we had to do like schedule traveling arrangements and all this stuff. So, I mean, and when you really, and people are like, oh, that's not really a big deal, make reservations for travel. But see, the stuff that they had us doing was very, very detail oriented, excuse me. We had to, when the traveling, we had to find them a hotel and find, them a car, and then we had to use a debit card, and for their hotel room. And I mean, it was just so much, you know, and you putting all this work on one person. you know you hire me to schedule. You first, in the interview, she was like, well, you're gonna be scheduling meetings for me and doing this and doing different office duties and stuff. And she did mention events and you know um making reservations, stuff like that. And events, I've done that before. Making reservations, I've done that before, but it wasn't that detail oriented. And it was a lot more other stuff in you know in the job that she didn't say in the interview. So I'm just like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to do all this work for this little bit of money you paying me. Okay. I'm just, and okay, so I'm gonna try to stay on track, y'all. I was trying to say, I'm telling you all the story, and I'm going off into like a different direction, but I'm gonna try to stay on track. Okay. So that was another red flag for me, because I'm thinking, hey, I got to do two jobs or three jobs. I gotta schedule. She hired this assistant, and I gotta do work for him and her. I'm just like, you know, and like I said, this was a new department, and nobody was coming in and out of the office like that. Nobody was in and out. It wasn't like it was a hotel where you got like traffic coming in and out, or like a grocery store or whatever, or like an office, like a dental office or something like that. This was a regular office. It was upstairs. Traffic was not coming in and out of there like that. So, and the reason why I'm saying that is, that gave me the right or the freedom to go downstairs and get help, because we wasn't busy like that. We wasn't busy to the point where people were coming in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out, and traffic was so heavy. I could go downstairs and get the help I needed, you know, for 30 minutes or whatever, and then come back upstairs. And then in the meetings, I told her, I'm downstairs to get help. Oh, well, I figured that's what you was doing. Well, if you figured that was what I was doing, what you asking me, what you making a big deal about it for then? What you getting mad because I'm not at the front desk, because I'm not at the desk then? If you knew, you know, um, and I knew that once she started like being like overly controlling and stuff, I knew something was wrong with her. Um, I knew that I just knew something was wrong with her. I knew something wasn't right. It was some type of mental disorder that she had, some type of mental illness that she had, and I just knew something wasn't right. You know, um, and like I said before, anytime anybody is that controlling, they need professional help. They need professional help. You know, some of the other things she would do is give me assignments. She would give me assignments due on the same day. You know, like, and she would be like, oh, the deadline's today. Yeah, I need help doing this because you haven't trained me on this. I haven't been trained on this yet. So she give me, that's another thing that micromanagers do, you know. Um, and then on 4th of July, for example, on 4th of July, this was really a trip. And this was on a Tuesday, I believe, this year. And we were off on Tuesday, but I had to come in and, be there in the office on Monday. So the office was still open, on Monday. So here she come moseying on in. She walking in the office. And I knew she was there just to keep tabs on me, just to watch and monitor me. And then she goes to her office and act like she got all this work to do. A girl, boo bye. It's 4th of July. It's the day before 4th of July. Ain't nobody else in the office. You know what I'm saying? It was me, and then it was a few people downstairs, but it wasn't no other managers there in the office. See what I'm saying? She was the only manager there. Um, she was the only manager there, and I'm thinking to myself, man, don't you have something to do? The other managers was at home with their family, getting ready and prepared for the holiday. You know what I'm saying? They was getting ready for the holiday. They was preparing for the holiday. So, and a lot of times, managers, honey, they can't wait to uh they can't wait to till the holidays because they taking a day off. They taking a day off before the holiday and the day after the holiday if it falls on a weekday. So, you know, the office the office was basically bare. It wasn't hardly nobody. Like I said, downstairs, it was only like a few tiny few people down there. The office was bare, and she coming in to try to micromanage me. Okay, so and she gives me this assignment to do, and then she's like, "Oh, it's due today at 5." What she said at 4:30, 5 o'clock. I forgot what she said, but it was due the same day, and I'm just like, this woman crazy. Really? You giving me an assignment, a project to do that's due. You giving me a project to do that's due at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? And when you should be at home with your family, getting ready for the holiday, you know. Um, I can hold things down, when it comes to the office and being responsible and being there when I'm supposed to. I'm like, I mean, I don't need you to be there to babysit me because it's 4th of July, a holiday coming up. So, but yeah, but she was there, and I was like, this woman is crazy. And she was the only manager that was there. She was the only manager that was there. And, even though I was still new a little bit, she didn't have to be there to babysit me. I'm just as old as she is, we both grown. And, it was just, and it made me feel really uncomfortable. And micromanagers will do that, you know, they'll make you feel very uncomfortable. They'll make you feel uncomfortable, you know. Um, and then other things she would do is, I noticed like sometimes my mouse would move without me touching it. So I knew she was watching me from home remotely, watching, you know, when I'm looking up at the internet or on the internet, if I have to look up something, or even if I'm just on my break and I want to browse the internet, she would like, even when I was doing work, sometimes I would see the mouse like kind of moving a little bit. And I knew that she was working remotely. And the reason how I know is because I've been in the hospitality industry for years, the hotel business, the hospitality. Um, and when you would call support, you there's some type of way that support can um, remotely take over your computer. There's some type of way that support can do that. And they can see your screen and they can move the mouse and move the arrow wherever they want to. You know, they can do that. Um, so and I knew she was doing this, watching my computer just from being in hospitality and talking to support and remote. See, it's something that you have to download. I don't know the full details about it, but you have to. It's some app you can download and stuff like that, and watch, like do a remote and take over the screen and watch the screen, and then you can be able to see the screen. You know, um, and then she started just doing other little stuff like I would ask about um you know if I can have a day off, and she would get mad, like she didn't want to give me a day off, and I had personal time, I had vacation time. It wasn't a whole lot, but I had time to take off if I needed to or wanted to. And she got mad about that. um she just started getting mad about stuff like that because she wanted me to be in the office 24/7. And then there was one time when she had was like, well, if you need a day off, then you need to tell me what she said, 2 or 3 weeks in advance or something. I don't know how, I think it was like 3 weeks in advance. And because there was a time when I can't really remember exactly detail by detail, but there was a time that I asked I had asked to I asked for a day off, or I asked for um half a day. I worked half a day and then asked for like the 4 hours off. Um and then I had asked for another day off. And I believe this was a time where like it was storming real bad and stuff like that. And even if it wasn't storming, I mean, that's no excuse. You know, I got the time to take. How come I can't take my time? I got personal time, I got vacation time. What's up? Why can't I take my time? And she's like, well, you need 3 weeks to give me 3 weeks. Girl, again, girl, boo bye. Three weeks notice. First of all, it's just me and you in this office. It ain't nobody else in this office. There's not, I could see if I had to compete with 5, 10, 15 different other employees who wanted the same day off, and we all requested the same day off at the same time. But it wasn't nothing like that. The office was empty. It was just me and her. And then most of the time, like she'll be gone, and then she'll come in and try to monitor me or whatever the case may be. And I'm just like, you don't even need a 3 weeks notice because it ain't nobody here. There's no traffic here. It's just me and and there's not, and she really didn't really have a whole, she would make projects for me to do, but it wasn't a whole lot for she didn't really have a load full of work for me to do. But the work she had me doing, it was detailed. You needed training to do it because it wasn't just like uh, a, a list. You go by a list and then you do it. It was very like, you do this, you have to go to this screen, you got to do this, it was just a lot of stuff that I had to learn, you know, and it was just getting to the point where I'm just like, what's really wrong with this woman? You know, she got issues, and she was trying to control me. She was trying to keep tabs on me. She was trying to control me. And I wasn't cool with that, you know. I wasn't cool with that. And so I basically, I went to HR, you know, and I complained about her. Um, and then I noticed she would other stuff she would do before I go into HR. Other stuff she would do was yeah, she would yell at me, and then when she got mad at me about not being at the front desk, she wouldn't talk to me for the whole day, which is cool with me. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you mad, you the one that's all bound up, getting mad about petty stuff, you know. Then she would start coming in at 8. See, she used to come in around like 12, 1, 2, and 12 or but then my shift was 8 to 4:30. So she started coming in around the time that I got there. So I don't know if that was just insecurity. So she can be there, um so she insecurity, thinking that I want her job or whatever the case may be, so she had to feel like she got to be there at 8 o'clock now, and stuff like that. um I mean, this woman was doing so much stuff. I can't even go into all the details, but like, she was just doing so much stuff, and her coming in at 8 o'clock just to mind, I'm like, and then she tells me when I first start, "Oh, I'm not a morning person," and then she start coming in at 8 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Just to monitor me, watch me. You know. So, I finally went to HR, and and then another thing she did was, I had left for lunch one day and she followed me, and I'm just like, this woman is didn't lost her mind. She really didn't lost her mind. And then that was like the last straw. And I went to HR and complained about her. And I went to HR and I sent them an email and I sent a complaint. And I waited. I'm like, this is not somewhere where I want to be, because now I'm at the point where I feel like she's really watching me for no reason because she insecure about herself, you know. And like I said, I don't understand why black women do this to each other, you know. Uh, and black women who do get high positions and authoritative positions or whatever the case may be, they want to try to bind other black women or try to keep them down, and it's that's a bad spirit to have. It's a bad spirit. It's a very bad spirit to have. When you trying to keep another black woman down and trying to control her because you insecure about yourself, you know. And like I said, and I know it's not just black women who are micromanagers or whatever the case may be, but I'm just sharing my experiences, um, about the managers that I have and the experiences that I have with black managers. And sometimes, honey, um, they can be worser than other races when it comes to management and when it comes to working with them. They could be worse than the other races, because a lot of times they let their titles go to their head. Shoot, you just got a title, and you're supposed to be collaborating and inspiring and helping the employee to perform their best, not controlling and dictating, you know. And so I said, I went to HR, and then I waited for her to turn my time in, so I can make sure I get paid, because micromanagers and people that's controlling, honey, they'll try to stop your paycheck. I waited till she turned my time in, and then I told her, I'm done here. You know, I no longer want to work for you or in your department. And I emailed her, and I turned in my keys, and I quit on her. I didn't give her no 2 weeks notice. She didn't deserve no 2 weeks notice, the way she was treating me. And if I would have stayed there long enough, the mental abuse, it would affect my mental health. And then that's another thing about control and stuff like that. It affects your mental health, and then um, it's to bind you up. It's to bind you up and try to break, and it's designed to break you. And that's what she was trying to do. She was trying to break me, trying to break my confidence, and I wasn't gonna let her. I reported her to HR, and I reported her to the labor Department of Employee Relations, Labor Relations. And like I said, I left. And if I would have stayed, it would have got worse, and I wasn't gonna stay because I already knew what she was on, and I wasn't gonna let her sabotage my confidence or my mental health, you know. Um, I wasn't gonna let her do it. I wasn't gonna let her do it. So I walked. And if you're in a situation like that, honey, I would walk. I would walk, because it's better for you to walk and leave with your sanity than to deal with that mess you know, um, with the managers who can't manage, who have poor management skills. And what she needed to do, even though she did have a college education, sometimes, you know, you can have a college education and have a degree, but if you don't need to, but if you don't know how to treat people, that degree don't mean nothing. If you don't know how to establish a team, create a team, build an effective team to where, and create a work environment to where people want to stay and work for you, and people actually want to stay and work for you, that college degree don't mean nothing, because guess what? You're going to continually have high turnover. Excuse me, I can't talk. Turnover. There we go. And it's going to cost the company. Then along with high turnover, you're talking about cost, and paying money for this and paying money for that, and stuff like that. You want to build a team, not have to be hiring and firing people every time you turn around, firing people every time you turn. Or she didn't fire me, I quit on her. But a lot of micromanagers, some of them fire, and then some people leave before they fire them, or try to find an excuse to fire them. And it's college, a college degree. If you don't know how to treat people, you can have whatever degree you want behind you. But if you don't know how to treat people, and you don't know how to manage people, use effective management, then that degree don't mean nothing. So I believe too that since she did have that MBA, she let that go through her head too. But she don't know how to treat people. She need more management training. She need more training. She need more training. Sometimes just because you have a degree don't mean you don't need more training. She still needed more training in management, you know and and then she needs to learn how to treat people. Ain't nobody gonna want to work for you, and you getting the attitude because they not at the front desk, or you getting the attitude over petty little stuff. I don't want to work around that mess. That's that ghetto mess. I don't want to work around that mess. Okay, let's go into another short story I want to tell y'all about. When I was working at a hotel, another Black woman that was very, 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 very insecure, very insecure. She was the general manager of the hotel, and she was a micromanager. Again, um, it was crazy, because and it's just like, man, why do we Black women do this to each other? Why do we do this to each other? You know, I started working there. I was only there for a couple of days, and she was already on my back. And they be on your back like, I hired you, I own you now. No, you don't own me. And she was constantly watching me on the cameras. She hired me for overnights. She was constantly watching me on the cameras, and the cameras was right there, you know. trying to see if I'm falling asleep and this and that. See, I've been in hospitality for years, and I know even though you do get hired to work overnight, there's always somebody watching. So she wasn't gonna catch me sleeping. You know what I'm saying? And then working overnights, you also have to be aware of, if somebody, different things goes on at night. You can get strange people walking in. You can get, somebody can try to rob you or try to do something, and you have to be alert and up and aware to be watchful and mindful of these things. And then on the camera, she was listening to every word I said. Even if I was on the phone or whatever, she was just listening to every word I said. And then she'll turn around and bring it up in the meeting. Oh, well, she'll say, my manager or something like that, her manager, she would say, her manager told me you said this. No, your manager didn't tell you that. You watched me on the camera and you listened to my conversation with your nosy self, okay? Then she would do things like, she was really a trip. She would do things like ask me what I'm looking up on the internet. See, when I work night audit, I've had general managers who would empower me to do your work, and after you do your work, you're welcome, and you're empowered to uh, either you do homework, you can browse the internet, you can they would give us permission to do it, and it wasn't no big deal, you know. And she like, what you looking up on the internet? And I'm thinking to myself, this woman must have lost her mind. You know what I'm saying? And then I will always click delete browsing history, and stuff like that, because she was too nosy. And it wasn't nothing that I was looking up. It's stuff for like sometimes I'd be on there and I have school college work to do. I'd have homework to do, or sometimes I look up vegetarian recipes or just different stuff like about YouTube, but it wasn't her business. I mean, come on, you know um it was just crazy. um then she would ask me, well, what's in your bag? I always carry my purse to work, and I carry a bag. Sometimes I put my purse in my bag or whatever the case may be. And then sometimes I'll have my homework in there, and maybe different little things that I do, or like lunches or something like that. I mean, but whatever's in my bag, that's my business. Why is she asking me what's in your bag? I'm like, this woman is crazy. This woman is crazy. Seriously, y'all, she was crazy. Um, she asking me about my personal items. Um, wanting to know what's in my bag. Girl, you done lost your mind. Then she come in at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm just like, really? Really? You a general manager and you coming in at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning? Honey, no general manager I worked for come in at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. For what? You know what I'm saying? For what? You coming in at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning? For what? You know? And then she try to act like she got work to do. Girl, you ain't got no work to do at no 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. You coming in to watch me. Don't know general manager usually, unless it's a really really busy like football night, or we got some teams in the hotel, something like that. Ain't no general manager walking in no hotel at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. They at home in their bed. And then she would hire people, then she would fire them for petty reasons. You know what I'm saying? She fired a breakfast attendant, and then she fired a housekeeper who was helping out with laundry. Then she expected me to pick up the slack, and the laundry was all the way piled up to the ceiling a couple of nights. She was like, can you do the towels? Can you do the towels and this and that? She was like, just make sure all the towels are done. I'm like, okay. And I knew I wasn't gonna stay, because don't be firing people when you don't have a replacement. you firing people and throwing your weight around and you ain't got the replacement, then you expecting employees like me to pick up the slack, and that's not cool. I wasn't feeling that, you know. And um what else did she do? She also would pull me into her office. She'd pull me into her office. You need to wear a belt. You need to do this. You need to do that. And I mean, my pants was like, they wasn't loose or anything. So, and I'm not the type of person that wear belts. And I told her, if you want your staff to look a certain way, then you need to supply the uniforms. As a general manager, I work for general managers. They want their staff to wear scarves and, button up blouses and the full uniform, because back in the day, hotels, I mean, you had to be in uniform, and that's when I started out in the hotel industry. You had to be in your, and she telling me, you need to, if you want me to look a certain way, if you want your staff to look a certain, you need to supply the uniform. That's your job. That's, because if I'm a general manager and I want my employees to look a certain way, I'm gonna supply the uniforms. Now she did supply a cheap top, cheap looking top, real cheap, you know, and it wasn't no button up top. It was just one of them cheap tops you slip over. I mean, and then I wore some black pants with it, you know. And I'm just like, I'm telling her, if you want your employees to look a certain way, then you need to supply the uniforms, basically. And then she gonna tell me in the meeting, well, I'm sure you can find another job, just like I can find somebody else and this and that. And I also told her, and I said, yeah, I said, it's not the job, it's you, it's not the job, it's you, being on my back about little stuff, thinking you managing and you not, you dictating. Um, Managing should not be dictating. Managers shouldn't, a lot of them do dictate, but a lot, they shouldn't dictate. And then I said, you coming in here at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to check on me. And if you gonna be here, you don't need me to work overnight. If you're gonna be here at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I could be at home, because I'm used to working night audit by myself. She's like, well, it's not gonna be that way here. I mean, it's always gonna be, I mean, I already know it's already somebody watching anyway. But the thing is, if you a general manager, you coming in at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, girl, boo bye, okay? Because you ain't doing nothing but trying to monitor me. And then she gonna have the nerve to say, well, it's not up to you to decide that. I told her, I'm not deciding nothing. I'm not deciding nothing. I'm just telling you that, if you gonna be here at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you don't need me to be here working at 11 p.m. 7 a.m. And I'm telling her, like, I don't care if she fired me or not. Shoot, because I really don't want to work here anyway, because she crazy. Just like I said, calling me in her office for petty reasons, another sign of micromanaging, trying to intimidate me with that job. Honey, girl, boo bye. I can get me another hotel job anywhere because I got experience, and not just in one hotel and on one system. I know several systems. So this little job you giving me ain't it's I don't have to put up with their micromanagement. I can go work somewhere else. Then look, I looked on Indeed and she had my job posted. And then I confronted her about it. I'm like, I see you got my job posted on Indeed. She's like, oh no, I didn't repost it. I didn't do that. I was like, oh, it said it was posted 7 days ago. So what you talking about? And then look, y'all, look, this is how I did this. I said, And then the Nelly and Ashanti concert was coming up the following week, and I wanted to go to the concert anyway. Okay, and my shift was Sunday through Thursday. The concert, I was scheduled to work the next week. And once I saw my job posted on Indeed, I told her next week. I told her, look, this is not gonna be this is not gonna work for me. Next week gonna be, I told her next week gonna be my last week. I could do a couple days next week, but I can't do the full week. And she was like, oh no, that's okay. But your job, she's like, a lot of employees think that I'm posting their job, you know, all these lies, you know, trying to fill my head with all this bullshit, knowing she didn't posted my job because she can't control me. She wasn't able to control me like she wanted to, and wasn't able to keep me down like she wanted to. And I wasn't gonna take that bullshit from her. And so she ended up, I ended up not working the following week, which I didn't care. I told her that I could work a couple days, but I can't do the full week because I was at that moment I was done with her, you know. And I was ready to go. And then I wanted to go to the Nelly, Ja Rule, and Ashanti concert anyway, which I had a really, really, really good time at. You know, and the concert was on a Sunday, you know, in Springfield. So, and I went, and I had me a blast. It was hot as hell outside, but I had me a blast. And you know, I really had a good time at the concert, and I'm glad I went. And some other things she would say, like as micromanager, she would say, well, I'm paying you, I don't mind you, like when she would ask me what's in my bag, or you know, if I bring homework, well, I don't mind you doing homework. I'm like, well, you know, usually general managers, as long as you get your job done at night and you take care of the guests and stuff, they don't care if you do homework or anything. Say, well, I don't care if you do homework, or you know, when you finish your job. But see, I'm paying you to do this. I'm paying you to do a job. I'm paying you to do this. First of all, you're not paying me. The company we work for pays both of us. That's another thing. We both work for the company. You're not paying me anything because you don't own the company. Yeah, she talking about she paying me. Girl, you must be you done really lost your mind because you ain't paying me nothing. You work for the company just like me. Yeah, she worked for the company. And yeah, she paying me. Girl, girl, these micromanagers is a trip. They're a trip. And then they think that they own the company and stuff like that, and this and that. You don't own this company. This is not your company. You don't own this company. We both work for the company. And then another thing why I decided to leave too, not only because of her micromanagement, the hotels was up for auction. And it was just up for auction in May. So, and it was up for auction again in September or October, one of them months. And I'm just like, this is not a secure job anyway. You know, she doing all this micromanaging and all this stuff. Then when if a new owner come in and take over the hotel, they could fire everybody, including her, and she won't have a job, and none of us won't have a job, you know. So, and that's how some of them owners do when they take over the hotel industry, and they take over, you know, they come in, or it don't even have to be the hotel business. When new owners come in, sometimes when new owners come in into a company or corporation or business, they fire that sometimes they come in and they fire everybody. They fire everybody, and then you got to find you another job. So it wasn't secure anyway. But um, even if it was secure, she's petty. I didn't want to work for her, and I was done with her. I was done. So I walked away from her. I didn't give her a chance to fire me. I walked on her, just like I did the other one. I walked on her. And I encourage y'all to walk. When you meet ignorant people like that, walk on their ass. Walk on them. You know, them people think they own you. They don't own you. Okay, let's go back into the PowerPoint that I'm sharing. Okay. Some effects that micromanaging and poor management has on an employee if you stay too long. Okay, so some of the effects, it can cause low self-esteem. That's another reason why I didn't stay. Low self-confidence. It causes low self-esteem, low self-confidence. You constantly being monitored. It can make you feel like your manager don't trust you, don't believe in your work abilities to get the work done, making you feel powerless. That's why I walked. They wasn't gonna break my self-confidence. I wasn't gonna let them break my self-esteem and my self-confidence. I walked on their ass. I walked on them. Okay. So another effect is, let me go around because I got this on. Okay, I'm not going in like order here, but it can cause depression. Being constantly monitored can cause depression, especially when you don't have the freedom to make your own decisions. You feel bound, and then you start, getting all these depression feelings, and it's not worth it. Okay. It can cause stress. This is here. A micromanaging boss can lead to stress, a lot of stress. If you have someone constantly hoovering over you, every day, it causes stress. And then if you stressed at work, you're gonna be stressed at home with your kids if you got kids, or even if you don't have kids. You stress at work, that can cause stress at home if you let it. And it's just not a good situation to be in. It's not a good situation to be in. Okay. Micromanaging, where it can damage your, let me see. That's it. I talked about damaging your mental health and can also crush your spirit. And that's the thing. Crushing your spirit, damaging your spirit, damaging your mental health. That's what micromanaging does. Crushing your spirit, it can crush your ambition to succeed and want to rise to the top, because they constantly trying to control you and keep you on the bottom, so you can't fly and soar like an eagle like you want to, because they constantly control keeps you bound and it keeps you down. So it crushes your spirit and your ambition, and also this can lead to depression and discouragement. And anybody who crushes your spirit, especially if you have a good spirit, is not good for you to be around. It's not good for you to be around. And then people who try to crush your spirit and control and jealousy, all that stuff is, control and jealousy. They're jealous of you too. They're jealous. They don't want to see you rise. That's why they're trying to control you. They're trying to break your confidence. When a manager crushes your spirit, it causes severe and emotional damage and leads to the loss of hope and willpower and motivation. You lose your motivation, you lose your willpower when somebody crushes your spirit. And it's just not a good environment for you to be around with micromanagers. And again, it affects your work performance. So it's not good. Micromanaging, being around a micromanager is not good for your health. So it's best to walk or go to a different department if you can. Okay, so mental disorders, we're discussing mental, we're still on micromanaging. Mental disorders associated with micromanagers. Micromanagement is associated with different mental health disorders. OCPD is one of the mental health conditions that causes an extensive preoccupation with perfectionism, organization, and control. So a lot of micromanagers, they have mental disorders because they're very controlling. Controlling is associated with different mental disorders. Micromanagers are usually very controlling. There you go, right there. Okay. Very controlling, very controlling. Very controlling behaviors can also be a symptom of several mental health disorders. Personality disorders such as histrionic personality disorder, borderline personality, and narcissistic personality disorder. Again, micromanagement is associated with different mental health disorders. The number two issue we're going to talk about of signs of poor management is harassment. Okay? Harassment. Harassment is aggressive pressure. First of all, before I go into the details of what it is, harassment comes in many different forms. Okay? And I didn't list all of the examples of harassment, but I'll list some of the examples. Okay? So it's different forms of harassment. Harassment is aggressive pressure or intimidation. Harassment is any unwelcome communication or action that violates a person's privacy, body, or feelings and makes that person feel uncomfortable, threatened, fearful, disrespected, insulted, insecure, startled, intimidated, offended, or objectified. Harassment is any type of unwelcome, offensive conduct, including words, actions, gestures, and visuals. And according to the EEOC, harassment is unwelcome conduct that is based on race, color, religion, sex, including sexual orientation, gender identity or pregnancy, national origin, older age, beginning at age 40, disability or genetic information, including family medical history. Some examples of harassment in the workplace is unwelcome conduct from a supervisor, coworker, or non-employee based on your sex, race, religion, or another protected status. Such offensive conduct may be unlawful if it becomes a condition of continued employment or creates a hostile work environment. According to the EEOC, examples of harassment include offensive or derogatory jokes, racial or ethnic slurs, pressure for dates or sexual favors, unwelcome comments about a person's religion or religious garments, or offensive graffiti, cartoons, or pictures, Harassment can take many different forms, like I said before. Some other examples of harassment may include stalking, following you around on and off the work site, repeatedly trying to contact or talk to you. If a person tries to talk to you and you don't want to talk to them, that is harassment. It's considered harassment. Okay, repeatedly trying to contact or talk to you when you do not want to talk to a particular person. Harassment can be verbal, physical, or visual. Now, I'm not going to get into the verbal, physical, or visual harassment, but it can be all three. Sexual harassment, okay? According to the EEOC, sexual harassment is unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical harassment of a sexual nature. Harassment does not have to be of a sexual nature, however, and can include offensive remarks about a person's sex. For example, it is illegal to harass a woman by making offensive comments about women in general. I remember one boss I worked for, he made the statement, "You can never trust a woman," and I'm looking like, he said that in front of another boss, and then he said it in front of another guy that I was working in the same department with. That's sexual harassment. Now, it wasn't of a sexual nature, but he making an offensive comment about women. That's sexual harassment. A man, I remember when I was working at a college, and one of the men there called himself liking me. I wasn't interested in him, following me around, stalking me. That's sexual harassment. That's part of sexual harassment. Then on top of that, come to find out, he had a record for rape. He had raped somebody. It wasn't me, but he raped somebody else. That's sexual harassment. Following you around. Now, let's get into some examples of sexual harassment. These aren't all the examples, but these are some of the examples. Some of the examples, okay? Inappropriate touching. You see where the man touching her butt, there. He's supposed to be, well, the boss or one of the bosses. He's supposed to be a supervisor, boss, or whatever. He touching her butt. That's inappropriate. Unwanted staring or leering at breasts or other private areas. You know, I remember working for a boss one time, at one time in the past, and he was staring at my breast. That's sexual harassment. Leering, staring, and then he would leer at me when I walk away or do something, just staring at me, made me feel really uncomfortable working for him, working as an employee for him. So remember this, women. Remember, because a lot of sexual harassment happens with women. I know it happens with men too, but a lot of times it happens with women. And women go through sexual harassment on the jobs. And these bosses and these supervisors and people in, like in position, in a management position, think you have to have sex with them to get a promotion, or think that you have to have sex with them to come up, or just, to keep your job. Some of these bosses think you have to have sex with me to keep your job. They won't say that, but that's how they act. And you ain't got to sleep with nobody. You ain't got to have sex with no man with no boss or no manager to keep your job. The EEOC laws protect you from that. Okay. So persistent leering or staring at your body up and down, you know how a man, be like, oh, she fine, oh, she fine, and be staring at you up and down. When a boss or coworker do, in the workplace, that's sexual harassment. Repeatedly asking for dates after being rebuffed. A person constantly asking you to go out with them, and you didn't already told them no, and they still asking you. Okay, requesting sexual favors, unwelcome sexual advances, requesting sexual favors. Well, if you have sex with me, I'll give you this salary raise, I'll give you this job promotion, sexual favors, telling lewd jokes or sharing stories about sexual experiences, sharing images and videos of sexual nature around the workplace, unwanted sexually explicit photos, emails, or text messages, pressure for sex, sexual posts or contact on social media. Pressure for sex, that's sexual harassment. Anytime a man pressure a woman, or even if a woman pressure a man for sex, it's sexual harassment. Getting pressure to have sex with somebody, that's sexual harassment. Stalking or following you around, standing too close to someone, invading your personal space. Stalking and following someone, again, that's harassment, that's sexual harassment. That's part of sexual harassment. Sexual gestures or inappropriate comments, making offensive remarks about a person's sex. And again, sexual harassment comes in many forms. And sexual harassment is not just about sex. It's about the harasser being hostile toward the victim or abusing power because of the victim's gender, of your gender, and, I encourage women to speak up. I want to empower women and encourage women to speak up, stand up for yourself. If you're being sexually harassed on a job, go to your HR department. If they don't do that, because sometimes in these jobs, they all stick together. And you go tell on the boss, or you go tell on the manager that's been there for years, and HR, they don't do stuff. They don't do nothing about it. And then you feel like, because that happened to me, and then you feel like, oh, what do I do next? Okay, well, see if you can get switched to a different department. If they don't switch you, try to find another job, and contact the EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. I empower women and encourage women, because we go through so much in this world, women, and I empower and I encourage women to take the steps to stand up for yourself if you're being sexually harassed on these jobs and in your career, because you trying to go to work and make make a decent living and they trying to sleep with you, you know? It's inappropriate. Okay. Number 3, signs of poor management. A manager who discriminates or retaliates against you. Discrimination, and I didn't get too deep with this, but discrimination is the unjust or prejudicial treatment of different categories of people, especially on the grounds of ethnicity, age, sex, or disability. Examples of workplace discrimination: overlooking someone for a promotion because of their race, age, sex, or disability, refusing to hire you because of your race, sex, age, or disability. I wasn't able to put everything like right here, so I'm just saying it because I didn't have enough room on the PowerPoint. Refusing to promote someone who has a disability. Okay, that's a workplace discrimination. An employer pays males more than females. That's workplace discrimination. An employer refuses to hire someone because of age, race, sex, or disability. Again, that's workplace discrimination. Retaliation. We're going to talk about retaliation. Okay, we're still on number 3, or signs of poor management. Is when an employer punishes an employee or takes any type of adverse action against an employee for advocating for their rights to be free from employment discrimination, sexual harassment, a discriminatory workplace culture, violations of laws intended to protect health, safety, and acting as a whistleblower. Examples of workplace retaliation: demoting you, making your work assignments more difficult, denying promotions because you went to HR or whatever and reported harassment or reported sexual harassment or reported discrimination. You know, they deny you a promotion, reducing a pay or hours because you went to HR. You know, and you know, and told and complained about sexual harassment or whatever. Giving an employee more work to do than usual, you know, cutting your paycheck short, not giving you the bonuses that you're supposed to have that all the other employees get because you went and complained, firing an employee because they complained to HR. Those are examples of retaliation, and of course there's more, but I just list a few of them here. Number 4, signs of poor management is workplace bullying. Okay. Workplace bullying can be defined as a repeated, persistent pattern of mistreatment of a person by another or others in the workplace, which may be considered an unreasonable and inappropriate workplace practice and causes physical or emotional harm. It includes verbal, nonverbal, psychological, and physical abuse. It also includes behavior that intimidates, offends, degrades, or humiliates a worker, possibly in front of coworkers, clients, or customers. So some of the signs of bullying is intimidation. And again, I didn't list all the signs, but just a few. Employer threatened to fire you to maintain power and control over you, gives you intimidating looks or glares, make you scared, frighten you, make you scared, physically harm you. That's all bullying. Yelling, screaming, and swearing. That's what one of the bosses did when I was working at the school, yelling in the hallways. I'm the reason you here. Oh, yeah. Okay. You're going to see me walk out the door and leave too. Okay. A boss may yell at you to try to hold power over you. That's what she was trying to do. Then I had another boss yell. She yelled at me, got loud with me over, and yelled at me, got loud with me, trying to make me talk to another employee that I didn't want to talk to. I refused to talk to her because the employee was a troublemaker and I didn't want to be bothered with her. I didn't want to deal with her. So I chose to stay away from her. And she yelling, "Oh, you need to come in," that's bullying. Because first of all, you can't make nobody talk to nobody. That's harassment. Then you yelling, that's bullying, So you know, and they will try you. They will do that. They will abuse their power, and that's what she was doing. Verbally abuse you, threatened you, you know, putting you down, making snide remarks, shouting and yelling at you again, threatening your job, you know, threatening to write you up or fire you. Um, you know, you know, these jobs, sometimes you be on probation. You know, when me and the manager that I was working for at the school wasn't seeing eye to eye, she wanted to email me, oh, well, you have your 2-month probation coming up. And so what? You know, so what? Like, you know, like she trying to uh threaten me, threaten my job, you know, or something like that. She was saying that because, and that was after we had the talks, and you know, she did all this. That was after she was doing all this micromanaging. Just put it like that. So, um, signs of bullying: intrudes on your privacy. You know, stalking you, spying on you, listening in on your private conversations or emails, tamper with your personal belongings. That's what that other boss was doing, trying to get into my personal business, asking me what's in my bags and all this stuff, and watching me on camera, listening to my personal conversations, just, you know, intruding on your privacy. She's a bully. Okay, isolation. Bullies isolate you. They don't include you on meetings, events, outings, or parties. Um, they set unrealistic deadlines for projects. Again, um, they want to do this so they can make sure you fail and won't succeed. And they doing this on purpose. So you can't meet the deadline. Berate you and unfairly criticize you angrily, just to hurt your self-esteem and make you feel bad about yourself. Pitting employees against one another. Pitting is creating an environment of competition. You know, again, it's employees. Um, how can I say this? Pitting is employees against one another. You know, they try to get employees to compete with one another. That's what the goal of the bully manager does. You know, and it creates a competitive and divisive environment because everybody competing with each other. When a bully pits someone, the workplace, it creates an environment, a workplace environment for employees to compete, and then they can't really focus on their work because they're too busy competing. Work shouldn't be a competition. You know, employees shouldn't be competing with each other. Everybody's there to work and do a job and go home and get a paycheck. You know, it shouldn't be a competition. It's not you know, a modeling, a beauty competition or nothing like that. And an employer shouldn't make it like that. If they are, that's a sign of a bully. Manipulating employees, controlling employees, forcing you to do stuff that you don't want to do, forcing you to do stuff that's not in your job description, that they didn't tell you you're supposed to do, or you have a written copy of your job description, and then they telling you to do something other than that. Manipulation, again, that's control, causes you to feel unworthy, low self-esteem. Another sign of bullying, it hinders your success. Now, this is really, you know, all in all, hinders your success. This is not only a sign of bullying, this is a sign of micromanaging. I mean, micromanagers hinder your success too. You know, it's just, you know, it hinders your success. Sexual harassment, staying up under that toxic work environment, staying up under poor management hinders your success. This is one of the signs of bullying. And this is last, but it's not least. And this is really a big deal because your goal in life should be to be successful and to move up and be, you know, be the best version of yourself and just move up, you know. Managers and bosses are supposed to coach and encourage employees. to do their best so they can perform their best at work and drive productive results, not hinder you and not control you and try to stop your success. A bully will hinder your work progress and your ability to succeed because they don't want to see you succeed and get ahead of it. And that's what all the insecurity, like the insecurity issues that I had dealt with, their insecurity issues that I dealt with those micromanaging bosses, with the bosses that were overly controlling it, this and that. They're insecure about their self. And their goal, and the goal of these bullies and micromanagers, is to keep you under them. They make it impossible for you to apply for a promotion or even move up because they want to see you fail. They want to see you they want to see you stay up under them forever so they can control you and hold that power over you. They don't want to see you get ahead, and they especially don't want to see you get ahead of them. Oh no. That's a big no. They don't want to see you get ahead of them, and that's part of that control too. They controlling you so you won't get ahead of them. Because they feel I'm the boss. You working for me. You work under me. And then a lot of them think you're supposed to stay and work for them forever. But you got news for them. This is not forever. Working up under your management. So it's very important to not be in these toxic workplace environments because it can hinder your success. If you're a victim of bullying, micromanagement, harassment, sexual harassment, discrimination, or retaliation, document every incident that happens with the dates and times, save all emails or other proof you have to use for evidence, contact human resources, file a complaint, ask to be moved to a different department, or find a new job. When you contact the EEOC, online, you can submit an online inquiry and file a charge at https www.publicportal.eeoc.gov. You're gonna have to register. You're gonna have to submit an online inquiry. They're gonna the website is going to take you to the public portal is going to take you to a place where you can set an appointment or an interview and talk to an EEOC interviewer and tell them what happened. Save all emails and other proof you have to use for evidence. I know I said this before. Save all emails, text, documentation, whatever you have as proof. Save it so you can submit it, when you file a charge, because if they approve of you filing a charge and you have enough evidence to support it, then the EEOC is going to have you upload evidence, and you're going to have to show evidence and proof of sexual harassment, discrimination, retaliation. You're going to have to show proof. Okay. Again, EEOC, I empower women. Stand up for yourself. Don't let these bosses and these men think that you got to have sex with them to keep a job and this and that. That we not in the 40s and 50s. We in 2023, and women are entrepreneurs. Women are successful. Not all women are entrepreneurs, but I'm saying women are entrepreneurs. They get their education. They're working in corporate. They're working. They owning businesses. They're managers, they're bosses, whatever, and we do not have to have sex with men to keep a job or to get a promotion. Okay. Always remember that, women, and always believe that. Okay. Number 5, signs of poor management. When a manager plays favorites. When a manager or a boss plays favorites, okay, they give more opportunities or benefits to their favorite employee or employee over all the rest of the employees for reasons besides good skills or work performance. For example, a manager promotes one of the employees who is their friend to management. I've had that. I've worked around that before. And this person has no management experience, no college education. I mean, she has nothing. But just because she's friends with the manager, she gets a promotion. Okay. She's the one that gets the promotion. She's the one to get promoted to manager. And now she manager. Now she think she's now she didn't let that management title get to her head that she didn't even earn. She didn't even earn. She didn't earn that title, but she let it get to her head because she hanging out with the boss. She hanging out with the person that promoted her, and now she come in and thinks she can do what she want to do. And it's bullshit. I'm just gonna be honest and keep it all the way. I'm gonna be honest and I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. It's bullshit. Because it's not fair to the other people who do have the experience and do have the management experience and do have the education, who have earned their education or whatever the case may be, and they are qualified for the position. It's not fair to the other person. A manager may allow someone to take off vacation and not allow you to take off, or allow another employee to leave whenever they want to, but you can't do it. They questioning you when you do it, but since they friends with the other employee, they let them do what they want to do. Or they may let an employee have weekends off, but then you got to work every weekend. But she get the weekends off in a certain month or whatever, or get weekends off or get whatever days she want off because she friends with the manager. And then they hanging together outside of work, so they getting more close. So, and then she thinking, hey, she can come in there and do what she want to do, because she hanging out with the manager. She hanging out with the one who fires and promotes. When a manager plays favorites, gives special privileges to an employee because they hang out together. This, along with other things, is a part of a manager playing favorites. Okay, a manager who refers to themselves as superior, as your superior, and refers to employees as subordinates. Poor management, poor management, poor management. I believe that that type of terminology should be eradicated out of the workplace, because no one's superior to no one. If you're working with a manager who consider themselves superior and think you lower than them, it's time to go. If a manager thinks that you are below and they on top, poor management, poor management. It's time to go. Because it makes the employees feel lower than what they really are. And we all need each other. When you're working in a corporation or working on a team, working in a business, a company, we all need each other, to make the company grow and to drive results for the company. So there's no big I's and little U's. You're the manager, but you know better than nobody else. You have a title, but you're not no better. You're not superior to the employees. Managers and bosses, like I said, they're just titles, and the titles can be lost. And titles don't mean anything if you don't know how to treat people. If you don't treat people right, um, subordinate. The term subordinate, it has a negative connotation, and it communicates the idea that an employee is less than, and it's not. It's not a good communication. It's like I said, we need to eradicate that. It also belittles the contribution of employees. Managers are supposed to coach and inspire employees to be better and to do better on the job and in the workplace. They're supposed to rate employee performances, cover shifts if needed, build effective teams, collaborate with teams, build effective teams so that there won't be a high turnover for the company. And this right there, and this along with other stuff that managers do, scheduling, promoting but this does not make a manager superior to any employee. And the reason why I say that is because we all need each other. When you work, like I said, when you're working for a company, a business, a corporation, we all need each other. you know uh and then some managers, well, I don't need you, I fire you and get somebody else. Yeah, but to keep firing and hiring somebody and you causing a company a high turnover, that's poor management. You want to build an effective team. um you want to be a leader and build an effective team so your team members can stay, and so people will want to stay and want to work for you. Okay, so a manager who refers to themselves as your superior and employees as subordinates. I was working at this one place, and this one woman was like, the manager was like, well, I don't think she can believe that you're her superior. She was talking to her friend who she promoted to management, and she was talking about another employee that wasn't in agreement with her being management, and I wasn't in agreement with it either, but I was listening to her. She was like, well, I don't think that she believes that she can't believe that you're her superior and you're so young. She ain't superior to nobody, and that's why she was coming in there doing whatever she wanted to do, because that manager got her thinking that she above everybody when she had no college education, no degree. She had no management training or experience. I'm talking about some real management experience, not no like online course that you take for an hour, 30 minutes. She's had no experience. So again, a manager is not above the employee. The employee is not above the manager. Let's work together. You're supposed to work together and build a team to create effective results for the company. When a manager okay, number 7, signs of poor management. When a manager overworks or slaves you and throws their weight around and abuses their power. Again, all that is abuse of power, sexual harassment, bullying, micromanaging. That's all abuse of power. Okay. No one wants to come to work and be slaved. Okay. Making you work overtime, or no one wants to work for a slave driver. I know I don't. You know, um, I remember one hotel I worked at like years and years and years ago, and we was cleaning rooms and stuff like that. This was like 20. This was years ago, and the manager come in, he sees something on the floor, and then he'll pick that up, and it'll be just a little something, a little small something, or they'll try to find something in the tub for you to go back and, it would be just crazy and petty stuff, and they was trying to overwork us for that little bit of money they was paying us. And when a manager overworks you, you know, they give you too much work to do. Give you too much work to do at one time, and then not only that, they giving you hard work. They overload you with work and with projects that can't be completed by one person. They work employees to the point where you don't have a life after work because you're too tired. You're too drained and too tired to do anything else. Overworked employees can lead to mental burnout for employees. And when an employee is burnt out, they are in a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive stress and other disorder and other stuff, mental health, not disorders, but other mental health problems, or other problems, health problems, excuse me. Managers that throw their weight around, they abuse, and that's abuse of power. They abuse their power. They think because they have a title, they can do what they want to do. I'm the manager, I'm the boss. You do what I tell you to do. You do it when I tell you to do it. They throw their heads, they throw their weight around, and they let their titles go to their head. Basically, that's poor management. They exercise their position and authority. They exercise their position of authority and power in an overbearing and excessive degree. A lot of managers abuse their power because they feel like they can. I'm the manager, I'm over this department, I can do what I want to do, you know. um I'm over this department, I'm the manager, I can sexual harass you if I want to, I can talk down to you if I want to, I can bully you, I'm the one that hired you, you the reason I'm here, verbal abuse, you know, all that mess. They think they can do all that um because they have a title, because they're a manager. you know when you abuse your power, it's the misuse of authority to take action in personal interest that negatively impacts the company. You know, a person abusing their power, you know, controlling, trying to hold power over you. It just different. Everything that I mentioned, bullying, micromanaging, they abusing their power. They throwing their weight around. You know, letting their jobs go to their head, letting their titles go to their head. You, the manager, you don't own the company. And even if you do own the company, you still need employees to work for you. So it's not good to throw your weight around, because employees won't stay and won't want to work for you. It's going to be a constant turnover, high turnover. And then the company is not going to profit. Okay, so we are at the end of the video. And again, this video was about the signs of poor management in the workplace. Of course, I didn't mention or touch on every single detail regarding poor management, but I did list a few. Poor management takes on many forms. If you're an employee of poor management, I would encourage you to either find another job or uh, go to HR or um, go into a different department. If you do find another job, make sure you contact the EEOC. You can contact the EEOC even while you're working under poor management. Like, for example, if sexual harassment is going on or harassment is going, you can still contact the EEOC. And if that company fires you, you can sue them for retaliation. So I would encourage folks to go to encourage and empower, especially women, to go to the EEOC. If you're being sexually harassed or bullied or whatever the case may be. Um, and basically, that's the end of this video. Again, this video was about signs of poor management in the workplace. I will be doing other videos like this, not on this topic exactly, but other videos like this in the future. And for more videos like this, please share, like, and subscribe to my channel, which is Empowering Women and Impacting Lives. I will see you next time in the next video. And again, women, don't be scared to speak up for yourself, to stand up for yourself as a woman. If your boss is a man and he's trying to control you and trying to, sexually harassing you, don't be scared to speak up for yourself. Don't be scared to stand up for yourself. Go to HR, make that complaint. Save your emails, save your evidence, save your documents to show proof. Ask to be switched to a different department. Look for a new job. Go to the EEOC. If you don't feel like looking for a new job, or you can't get a new job right now, ask to be switched to a different department. Do whatever it is in your whatever it is in your power to maintain your sanity and do what's best for you. Don't feel powerless. Okay, women. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video. I will see you in the next video. And again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Empowering Women, Impacting Lives. And I hope you all, I hope you women and everybody else that's watching, you all have a great day. And I hope you all learn something out of this video. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Hello, once again, here are My references for the video I just made for poor management, signs of poor management. Here are my references.